Floats are too often associated only with fishing with natural bait, and while floats work great for suspending a cricket for a bluegill or maybe a minnow for crappie, they also work great for fishing a jig, and presenting the jig is the key. It's got to be an active approach. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the presentations that work really well for fishing a jig under a float. One of the simplest presentations, if you have wind or current in a river, is to simply let the bait drift along with it suspended beneath the float. The most important thing when you're drifting is line management. You want to keep up with the slack line that's forming as it's moving and keep the line from getting ahead of the float so that it would drag it in an unnatural way. A second way, and probably the thing that I use the most, is combining twitches and pauses. Little twitches of the rod are going to make the bait kind of dance up a little bit and fall back down again, and I'll mix up the speed and the sharpness of the twitches and how long the pauses are. Kind of similar to that, but very different in what the fish see, and sometimes it's a difference in mood, is using more controlled pulls. Just kind of sweep the rod and pause, and when you do that, that bait is going to come up and then it's just gonna fall gently back down. And a lot of times they'll hit it as it's falling back down. And sometimes they don't want the twitches, but they'll hit the pauses. A final way is simply to reel steadily, which what your float is doing in that case is controlling your depth. It's causing it to swim maybe a foot or 2 feet beneath the surface, and you can go as slowly as you want, and it's always gonna maintain that depth. You know, with any of these presentations, the patterning is the real key. Mix things up as you fish, pay attention to how the fish bite, and adjust accordingly, and you're going to catch more fish.